Hey man, say man, it's your boy DAALIGHT man, Daylight TV, back at you with another Mafia Material profile piece. And on this trip, we're gonna be covering Ali Zoe Adams, straight out that Tray 05 by way of Haiti. We're gonna talk about him coming to America, his early life, his rise in the drug trade, and his connection to some of the most notable figures in hip hop. So, without further ado, Daylight TV, let's get it. Ali Zoe Adams came to America with his family when he was just 9 years old. His relatives all had positions within the regime of the Papa Doc Duvalier dynasty in Haiti and would flee Haiti during a coup which saw the end of the Duvalier regime.
Capital of Haiti was quiet today. Soldiers were out early, patrolling the streets to prevent another demonstration from flaring up. The bustling market showed little signs of yesterday's violence. On Friday, soldiers chased young anti-government protesters through downtown Port-au-Prince. Windows were smashed and buildings set on fire. The protesters have no apparent leaders or political agenda. The U.S. State Department has advised Americans to avoid Haiti. Among those leaving are U.S. missionaries and church people. The demonstrations began 2 months ago in the desperately poor countryside, where a person is lucky to earn $3 a day. Food riots became political disturbances, focused on President Jean-Claude Duvalier. Today, the man called President for Life remained in the palace. Duvalier is still in control of his army, which in turn can control the demonstrators. But the soldiers can't stop the political dissent. For the first time in nearly 30 years of Duvalier dictatorships, Haitians are talking openly about overthrowing their leader. This week, the resentment, the hurt, the anger, repressed all those years, exploded from the bottle. And Duvalier will have a hard time getting the cork back in. Dennis Murphy, NBC News, Port-au-Prince.
This would be around 1986 where Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier would flee to France. It is said that during the transfer of power from one regime to the next, they would put tires on the members of the old regime and set them ablaze. The family would make the trip to America by boat in what Zoe would describe as a rush job. During the boat ride over, Adam would lose at least 5 relatives, 3 aunts and 2 cousins, who he says were eaten by sharks during a storm that caused them to go overboard. 19 family members came through the immigration and they would all stay together and make their home in the Carol City section of Miami, and eventually would open up the Carol City supermarket. It is here where Adam would meet Boobie Boy leader and namesake Kenneth Boobie Williams. Ali would also make acquaintances with another notable name out of Carol City, the Miami rapper and proclaimed Boobie Boy affiliate Rick Ross, who actually grew up just a couple of blocks from the store Zoe's mother owned. He actually says he was hitting Ross with them bricks once upon a time. That for street cred. Zoe begins running with Boobie around 10 years old, just 1 year after arriving in Miami. He starts out as a lookout and then begins functioning as a lieutenant in the organization while attending Parkway Middle School, which was known to be the most dangerous middle school in Miami. During this time, he was also in and out of juvenile facilities for months at a time. During his many stays at the juvenile facility, he would meet other Haitians from different parts of Miami, including Macazo, War Daddy, Chubb, and J Baby, who were among the 18 others who would make up the original Zoe Pound roster. In 1993, Ali and other members of the Zoe Pound were involved in the confrontation with Dr. Dre and Death Row Records when they came to perform in Miami. The confrontation stemmed from Dre dissing Uncle Luke on Dre Day, which also dissed former NWA bandmate Eazy-E. There was also an incident concerning another former NWA member, Ice Cube, who found himself at odds with the Zoe Pound while promoting his group, the Lynch Mob, while in Miami. The beef stemmed from the pre-existing animosity towards his former NWA groupmate, Dr. Dre, as well as there being a notorious crew known as the Lynch Mob in Miami. The Lynch Mob would actually go on to become known as the infamous John Doe Gang. But this would be the first time Zoe Pound's name rippled throughout the national rap scene as a force to be reckoned with when in Miami. In or around 1996, Zoe would become officially involved in the music business through another Miami street figure named Toro, who had connections to legendary Miami DJ Uncle Al. Zoe even had a hand in the career of the Fugees and Wyclef Jean as a solo artist, who went on The Late Show and actually shouted out to Zoe Pound. But even with Zoe entering the music business, the streets would not be far behind him. He tells a story where he meets New Orleans street and rap legend Soulja Slim and would actually start supplying him with wholesale cocaine. The following year in 1997, Boobie Boy leader as well as Zoe's former mentor, Kenneth Boobie Williams, would be indicted and picked up by the feds and subsequently convicted in the year 2000. But Boobie's arrest wouldn't slow anything down for Zoe because by 1998, his drug organization was in full effect. He would actually partner up with his cousin Pete Jerome and developed a stronghold out in South Carolina. But he would also control an area in Cal City known as The Block or Murder Grove, where he began selling weight. It is also around this time that Adam's uncle, Gary Jerome, aka G, got involved in his organization. Gary Jerome was actually employed as a Miami-Dade police crime scene investigator. Like, bro was really CSI Miami in real life. But anyway, it's also alleged that Gary Jerome transported millions of dollars to Haiti, as well as transporting at least 125 kilograms of that Hannah, Montana back into the United States. To give you an idea of how crazy the game was for Zoe at this point, there was an incident where 60 bricks went missing, and the suppliers actually put out a hit on Zoe because they held him responsible for the missing product and them not being paid. In a brazen assassination attempt, they would shoot up a car, hitting it a total of 43 times. Zoe was not hit, but the other two occupants in the vehicle would sustain gunshot wounds. The driver, a man named Joe, was hit a total of 8 times, while the other passenger was hit twice. Zoe drove both men to the emergency room where they were treated for their injuries. Both men would fortunately survive. As Zoe's organization grew in size, it also grew in sophistication. Zoe had a number of money laundering schemes such as a coin laundry, 2 Dairy Queens, a Subway sandwich shop, House of Fire Records, and is even reported having 123 properties at one point. Zoe would also keep a rotation of identities with names such as Keith Murray, Ali Dousa, Theodore Charles Houston III, and Sebastian Adam, as well as 2 passports. Around this time, he would also forge a relationship with Bad Boy CEO and founder Sean Diddy Combs through his relationship with Diddy's friend and bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones. Zoe would always make sure that Diddy was good in Miami. He would actually supply recreational cocaine for the Diddy parties since he was a major distributor at the time. He even played a role in getting the band member Freddie P released from his contract with Bad Boy. In 2002, Gary Kelly was released from prison after serving 12 years. Upon his release, him and Zoe would become very close. So in 2003, when Zoe and his cousin Pete Jerome would allegedly have a falling out after Jerome accused him of stealing $1.7 million from his home, Jerome goes to prison and Gray becomes Zoe's right-hand man. Kelly would subsequently end up being indicted along with Zoe. When the authorities made an attempt to apprehend him, he would engage in a shootout that would leave several officers wounded. They would return fire and Kelly would be struck several times. His girlfriend, a woman only known as Sasha, would throw her body on top of him, essentially saving his life. By 2004, it is alleged that Zoe and his organization were receiving 800 bricks every 2 days, as well as generating $1.5 million per week. Also in 2004, Kelly would obtain a new cocaine connection in Los Angeles, who would allegedly give the organization 40 to 70 bricks at a time. That connect would end up being shot dead in 2005. 2 of his associates would actually end up cooperating against Zoe. Around 2006, Zoe and Jimmy Henchman would form a relationship. Zoe would actually play a role in connecting LA-based rapper The Game, who was managed by Jimmy Henchman at the time, with Harlem-based rapper Jim Jones in what would end up being the Certified Gangster collaboration. Jim Jones would actually credit Zoe with being the first person that he ever saw make it rain in the club, as well as influencing the rock star lifestyle and fashion that he popularized within hip-hop. Damn, in all this time or whatever, I was thinking he got his style from Max B and Stack Bundles. Could be, who knows? But anyway, during the Game's negotiation to get off a G-Unit that occurred between Jimmy Henchman and Chris Lighty, Zoe describes an incident where Lighty ended up mushing Jimmy Henchman in the face, and things escalated to where Jimmy ends up squaring up and the two had to be separated. Zoe would even be at the Mixtape Awards where G-Unit, The Game, and Henchman's entourage would both show up, and by the end of the night, Tony Yayo's Bentley would be shot up. And of course, by now, y'all all know the story about Yayo and Lodi Mac smacking up Jimmy's son and what happened, behind that. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother profile piece. It was also in and around this time that Zoe would meet Cash Money Records co-founder Brian Baby Williams, who is more commonly known as Birdman, during a dice game at Circle House Studios in Miami. The two would develop a relationship, and Zoe Pound would become Cash Money's strength in Miami. But in 2007, when Wayne was about to embark on his legendary mixtape run, an altercation jumped off between him and Zoe, which led to Zoe actually putting hands on Weezy. Zoe had felt disrespected because despite all the favors he and Zoe Pound had done to help the New Orleans native feel at home in Miami, Wayne was acting funny style when it came down to Zoe's artists. It was at that point that Zoe would grab Lil Wayne and slam him against the wall of the Hit Factory studio they were in and relieve him of his jewelry. Zoe then goes to a flyer printing company and ordered 20,000 flyers that said Cash Money Records must leave Miami or show Miami love. He then had the flyers distributed all throughout the Metro Dade area and South Florida. He went as far as to throw gasoline on Wayne's Black Phantom and set it on fire. That boy was with all the mess. So Lil Wayne eventually gets the picture, and on the We Taking Over remix, the beef is somewhat unceremoniously squashed when Wayne raps, "Me and Zoe beef over, now it's time to get dope." I bet it was, nigga. But anyway, shortly after that, Zoe would end up being arrested in LA on an indictment while leaving the BET Awards. He also faced indictments out of New York and Miami on a slew of charges, including the Kingpin charge, running a continuing criminal enterprise, conspiracy to distribute 6,000 kilograms of cocaine, money laundering, and mortgage fraud. The feds would also allege in another report that between 1998 and 2005, Zoe's organization distributed at least 1,000 kilograms of cocaine, which came to Miami by way of Haiti via boat or plane. 115 people cooperated against Zoe. The prosecutor on Zoe's case was none other than Michael Patrick Sullivan, who had prosecuted the Manuel Noriega case as well as the Willie Falcone case. Sullivan had classified Zoe as the scariest person he had ever met. Zoe would fight his case for 3 years and 7 months. At the age of 33, Zoe would accept a 30-year plea deal to avoid a triple life sentence. Zoe would have a very colorful stay in the United States Penitentiary. He would reportedly have about 3 dozen fights in prison. One incident would occur where Zoe would fight an inmate who was about 6'8" in height. To level the playing field, Zoe would heat up some baby oil and throw it on the other inmate, burning him, then proceed to pound him out. The feds would indict him for the assault and send him to Santa Rosa State Prison pending trial. He was offered a plea deal of 10 years until 14 inmates came forward on his behalf, as well as the victim refusing to testify. Zoe was able to plead out to 1 year for the assault. Lucky boy. Terrence Gangsta Williams, brother of Cash Money co-founder Brian Baby Williams, would have a chance encounter with Zoe surrounding the Lil Wayne situation when they crossed paths in a federal penitentiary. But that's another story for another video. During his bid, Zoe would receive a lot of letters. one in particular from Haitian rap sensation Kodak Black. In response, Zoe encouraged Kodak to support and publicly endorse Donald Trump, a relationship that would subsequently lead to Trump pardoning Kodak. Zoe would also legally catch a break when he would file a motion to knock 12 years off of his 30-year sentence. The motion ensured amended Zoe's role in the organization as supervisory management as opposed to organizational leader, which lowered the sentencing guidelines. And in 2024, after 18 years, he was finally released. Since his release, Zoe has been on a press run telling his life story and promoting the Zoe Pound brand, as well as books that he wrote during his bid, such as Zoe Pound, A Port of Miami Boat Robbery, The Hip-Hop Black Republican Manifesto, Haiti Meet Jews, Ali Poetry, The Mind of a Genius, and more. He also has a YouTube channel y'all can check out called Zoe Pound Chip. I'll drop the link in the description. And there you have it. Another Mafia Material profile piece covering the infamous life and times of Zoe Pound co-founder Ali Zoe Adams. And if you made it this far through the video, I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, help grow the channel. And remember to stay dangerous so you can be safe. And Mafia is not a thing, it's a process. It's sock I say to all my Zoes, and get my mood to the fuck niggas that told. One time for the Trey 05, shout out to Haiti. It's your boy DAALIGHT, DAALIGHT TV. I'm out.